talk about how to start a 5-figures home bakery in 2025. I see this a lot with my clients because most home bakers undercharge, they struggle with marketing and social media, and they just don't treat their passion as a business. Just because it's your passion doesn't mean you shouldn't be making money out of it. This video will break down exactly how to start a profitable home bakery from scratch, covering a bit of legal steps, pricing, and most of all, marketing. The great thing about home bakeries is that they are booming because they require low startup costs and they can be incredibly profitable. If you're baking for friends and family and everyone's telling you these are amazing but you're not making any money yet, which is fine because I don't charge my family and friends either. But if they're giving you amazing feedback and you know that you could sell your baked goods, this video is exactly what you need. I'm gonna have to talk a little bit about the legal setup, even though I cannot help the general public with it because each country is different. Sometimes in America, each state is different. So I cannot give you a one-size-fits-all for your legal setup. But what you need to do is to check all the local laws. In America, it's local cottage food laws. In Switzerland, you can start off with very minimal legal things required. You just need to make sure that what you're doing is legal because otherwise you're going to have fines and you're going to have problems. If you want, you can register your business. For some countries, you don't need that. In Switzerland, you don't need to register your business until you make a certain amount of money. But make sure that if your country is asking you for a food handler's permit, in the UK that's the case, get your food handler's permit. Consider insurance to make sure you're covered regardless of all the laws. Just make sure you talk to someone who knows their shit about this and that you are insured because these things can bring you so much nuisance over time. So don't do it. So start by researching your laws, research your country's health department's website, research everything a little bit before, just to make sure that you're doing everything right from the beginning and that there's no fines down the line, okay? And then we go into my favorite topic, pricing correctly, because none of my clients did when I met them. So most bakers undercharge. Most bakers, they look at someone else's website. They look at their cost, but they forget to put their actual work time in. It's really hard and I completely understand it. But the formula that you want to remember is the cost of ingredients plus the time you have spent. The time is so expensive, and then you add your profit margin, and that's gonna give you a selling price. If you have sales and you're not making a profit, that is a problem because you should, from your first cupcake, you should be making that tiny bit of profit that you worked into the calculation from the beginning. If you sell your first cupcake, you have a profit because you've covered your expenses, you've covered your time, you've covered your electricity that you're using, you've covered everything, and now you have those 20 cents that are yours and yours alone, and that is the profit of your business. Charging what you would pay instead of market rates is also a very bad strategy because we're all different and we think that, oh, nobody would pay for this. Yes, people will pay. People pay $50,000 for a bag. Don't focus on that. Just set your pricing right, and the customers that are able to afford you and that will want to afford you are gonna come to you. Do not worry about that. They exist out there. It's a lot of people in this world. They will come to you. Maybe use some competitor research. You see a competitor selling it for 80, don't charge it for 40, but be very careful with that because it's easy to be like, oh, they're selling for this. People have, when they're doing their pricing right, sometimes they will have products that bring you in that where they'll have a lower profit margin, and then products that keep you in with a higher profit. You don't know what their calculations are. Of course, have a look at what your competition is and what they're charging, but make sure you do all the math for yourself before you look at what they're doing. So use a pricing calculator. If you comment pricing, you're gonna get a template and go from there. Use that template and make sure that your pricing is top notch because that will basically determine if your business is gonna be successful or not and if you're gonna be able to make a living out of it or not. So let's talk about marketing that actually works. Instagram, TikTok Reels, they're great, but just showing your final product is not gonna get you that far. In the grand scheme of things, you need to show behind the scenes. You need to show maybe not your face if you don't want to show your face, but you need to show personal things that are going to make the buyer connect to you and get reactions when they see what you make and how you're making it. Cake making time lapses and decorated cookie time lapses. I will not say this enough in my life. These are the attention grabbers. They are amazing. I would watch them all day if I didn't have a job. Anyone would watch them all day. And always make sure to show the final product first and then the process behind it. So you show the cookie and then how you made it, because that cookie in the beginning or that cake in the beginning is going to be attention grabbing and people are going like, oh my god, what is this? And then they're like, oh wow, I want to watch it being made. And again, cake decorating, cookie decorating, I could watch it for freaking hours, and most people would. In local Facebook groups, maybe you want to look there, you maybe want to offer some discounts there, see how people react to that. It's very important that you always remind yourself that your business is local, so you don't need 2 million followers because you don't have 2 million people around you to order from you. It's no use that I, from Switzerland, am watching your account from New Jersey because unfortunately you cannot ship to me. So just make sure you're really going local. Local Facebook groups are amazing for that. Referrals from word of mouth are gold, like pure gold, because if anyone tells me, oh, by the way, I bought this cake there and it was delicious, I'm not even going to question it. If the person that is recommending it to me is someone that I know and that I know knows food and likes good food like I do, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go to them. I'm going to be like, hey, John recommended you. I want a cake from you. I'm not even going to go look around. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's the one. That's what I need. So make sure that your family and friends, maybe they can help you in other ways, but they can help you by saying, hey, my sister, my daughter, my cousin, my, I don't know, aunt twice removed is making these most amazing cakes, for your next birthday, maybe you want to order from her. So that's going to help a lot. For starters, post at least 3 times a week on social media and showcase your best work. And that's already going to bring your first followers, and we'll go from there. So let's start by picking your niche, because being specialized means more profit. Why? Because niching down helps you stand out and makes marketing easier. You're not just selling everything and anything, you're selling a very specific thing and you're doing it amazingly well. A few profitable, popular niches that I always come across are custom cakes for weddings and birthdays and events, cookies and cupcakes, which are high volume, easy shipping, and you can basically go nationwide, vegan, gluten-free, keto-friendly. There's a growing demand for all of these. Artisanal breads do really well. They're high margin and they have a loyal customer base, and basically my clients who make sourdough mostly, they have a loyal customer base that orders every week at least 1 or 2 breads, and then their business model is perfect for that. So at the end of the day, pick 1 or 2 product types and test demand with small pre-orders before committing. And in the beginning, it's fine to do a bit of everything and then see what sticks, see what people love, and go from there. So what you need to remember is that the home bakery industry is growing, and now is the best time to start, because it's not tomorrow, it's not in 2 weeks, it's not on the 1st of the month, it's now. Set your mindset that way so that you can go ahead and do it. You're never gonna regret something that you've tried, at least. If you drop home bakery in the comments, you're gonna get a free step-by-step bakery business checklist to get you started, and subscribe for more bakery business tips. And now let's talk about taking orders and growing, because that's where we are now. Use Google Forms and Instagram DMs. Probably in the long run you will want a Google form, because people forget to ask the thing that they want, and they'll be like, oh, I just want a cake, and you'll be like, what kind of cake? And there'll be a strawberry cake, and it's just a lot of back and forth that's taking up your time. Whereas if they have a form, or even better, a website, it's going to be much easier, because you're going to have all your information in one place and you're not going to be asking and going back and forth with your customer 15 times. You also absolutely should have some sort of pricing. I understand that custom anything can cost custom prices, but if you don't have a starting point, if you don't have an idea for the customer to see and understand what your pricing is like, you're going to get a lot of requests on DMs that you're going to answer. They're going to be very nice and they're going to go back and forth, and then at the end you're going to give them a price and they're going to be like, too expensive. So you don't want that. You want a ballpark for people to be able to understand and then either not contact you if it's too much for them, which is absolutely fine. You don't have to be in everyone's budget, or they'll be like, okay, I can afford that, I want to pay that, and then they'll just contact you, and it's going to be much easier. You can also upsell them. Maybe that's a bit more advanced, but you can always offer matching cupcakes for a cake, or maybe there's a birthday order and you can include a custom cake topper. There are things that you can upsell people, you can cross-sell things, you can find out more about what they're planning and doing and kind of go from there. And that's the beauty of sales at the end of the day. So even now that you're just starting, set up the ordering system. Decide if you want a super simple website or a Google form, or if you want to do DMs, make sure that you have a template asking people exactly what they need to provide so that you know exactly what kind of order you're going to make for them.